Alan Pardew is convinced that British managers do not get the credit they deserve when they beat the best teams in the country. Well, the next 2 minutes of this video is for you, Alan. On nights like this, you have to hand it to him because he's onto something after his Crystal Palace team crushed the defending champions with a performance that will reverberate across Europe. In a season that started with Newcastle and will end in mid-table with Palace, Pardew has toppled Manchester City twice, Tottenham twice, Chelsea and Liverpool once each. It is a special achievement for an English manager, a man who was eventually run out of town after 4 years at St James's Park. If City sack their coach Manuel Pellegrini at the end of the season, which they surely will do after this troubling defeat, they could do worse than turn to Pardew. Why not? He has something about him. The Homesdale fanatics, those chuntering fans who sing non-stop at Selhurst Park, have christened their manager Pardewla after winning 7 of the last 11 Premier League games after his return. Pardew has got something special going here. On a mesmerizing run with this Palace team, after goals from the enterprising pairing of Glenn Murray and Jason Puncheon put them 2-0 ahead. Sergio Aguero scored his 18th of the season when he deflected Yaya Toure's 78th minute strike beyond Julian Speroni, but this night belonged to this Palace team. They showed courage with Joe Ledley and James MacArthur covering every blade of grass at Selhurst Park to suffocate Toure, David Silva, Jesus Navas and Aguero. Palace have broken Pellegrini, a manager now facing the sack at the end of a season that promised so much. This surrender was meek and troubling. The momentum was with Palace and they were rewarded with an opening goal in the 34th minute that was contentious and controversial. Joel Ward, Ledley and Scott Dan combined in a brilliant sequence, beating City's defenders to the ball until it eventually fell on the feet of Glenn Murray. He scored with more than a hint of offside, but even a delegation of City players led by Captain Vincent Kompany could not change the mind of referee Michael Oliver. There was more to come from Palace, adding another 3 minutes after the break when Puncheon, the best player on the pitch, scored with a magnificent free kick. Had it not been for Charlie Austin, Bobby Zamaro, Wayne Rooney and Jermaine Defoe over the weekend, this one would get far more airtime over the coming days. The City team are raging before our eyes, with only 2 of the players starting against Palace under the age of 29. They had chances, of course they did, because a team that can call upon Samir Nasri, James Milner and Frank Lampard from substitutes as bench will always create opportunities. They remain 4th, way off the pace after being beaten by a team who were 18th when Pardew took over. Well, after this, Palace and Pardew look in a different league. Post your comments on this dismal performance by Manchester City and a brilliant one from Palace.